Artists and performers have had to go virtual for almost a year now. For more on that, let's bring in Karen Allen. She's a live streaming and business development consultant and the author of Twitch for Musicians. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So as people have had to get more creative to make the virtual experience as engaging as possible, start by talking about the rise of live streaming performances during the pandemic.
Live streaming has taken off exponentially. It's been really incredible to see, and I've been loving all the creativity involved in it as well. Obviously, we can't go anywhere. We can't be in person anywhere, but we still want to see artists, and artists still want to make money. So we've seen a couple of things happen. We've seen the signed artists who are normally touring in the big theaters and venues. We've seen them start doing ticketed live streams, and then we've seen a lot of the mid-level to indie-level artists take to services like Twitch and Facebook and YouTube and start to make money directly from their audiences in ways they never have before.
So then for many dance and theatre lovers specifically, a lot of the big part of the experience is being in those famed theatres, seeing the sets and the costumes up close, and then sharing that experience with other fans who are with you. So how are performance companies trying to make their shows, their virtual shows, more immersive and interactive?
Yeah, so what I've seen them doing is taking it out of the theater, first of all. I know the Met Opera has taken a series of performers sort of all over the world in all kinds of interesting venues. They did a whole at-home series from the very beginning. And then for the theaters themselves, what I'm seeing them do is use the entire theater, not just the stage, but actually you know, the seating and the beautiful side stages and kind of use the whole thing. I'm also seeing them get a little more interactive with it and do Q&As and meet and greets with the performers. So it is a whole different experience.
So then as you compare it to pre-pandemic levels, is this a welcome approach when it comes to companies' bottom lines as well as for audiences themselves?
You know, I think everybody had a growing period and a pain period figuring out A, how long is this going to last and what do we really need to do here? And B, what is this going to cost us and how are we going to do it? And I feel like in the last couple of quarters, we sort of found our level with that. And I'm hearing a lot of promoters and artists and theater companies saying that, you know, they can see themselves doing this post-pandemic. There definitely are benefits to being able to offer a lower ticketed price to a wider audience.
So then what would you say are the biggest challenges that come with virtual performances?
Yeah, at the very least, the biggest performance is making the technology actually work, especially when you have massive performances like Billie Eilish recently. It crashed about 10 minutes in. They got it right back up, but that's a huge issue. And the bigger problem for artists is how do you make it feel like a show? How do you make it feel like there really are 3,000 to 20,000 to 50,000 people all watching this together, the same way that we feel that in the venue. And that's been tricky because really what we have is we have video and we have a chat. And more developed services like Twitch have many ways to build in fan engagement, but a lot of these newer services haven't built those in yet. So it can feel a little distant.
So then talk about some of these ticketed live stream platforms versus, say, YouTube, Facebook or Twitch, some of these platforms that are free but can also be paid. Who's really doing the best out of all this?
So the ones who are doing the best are sort of the mid-level artists who really have time to do this. I'm seeing artists that, again, would play sort of the club level. They do really great. I'm seeing artists who kind of honestly came out of nowhere, who were very indie, maybe only had a couple records out, if that, suddenly go on Twitch for 2 to 3, days a week, 3 to 5 hours per session, whatever it is, and suddenly be making 5 and 6 figures. I've seen this happen with artists who have just started on Twitch out of nowhere in March, for example, and they're some of the top earners on Twitch.
Now, as we saw, a lot of businesses closed during the pandemic. So how will the prolonged absence of traditional in-person events really change the industry as well as the way we consume performance art going forward?
I think that's the big question, right? So it all comes down to what the consumer feels like they're going to want to do. I can definitely see live streaming being a strategy going forward, and I know that the music industry has excitement for it in general, but I think it's going to be something more like, we're going to do a stream at the beginning of the tour to promote the tour, or we're going to do a very special capstone live stream at the end of the tour. Very few artists are going to take this on the road with them. I know like Melissa Etheridge will, because she already has a subscription service of her own called Etheridge TV, where she charges $50 a month and people pay for it. And she's taking her show on the road. Every show will be live streamed. Matt Heafy from Trivia does the same thing. But that's a very rare breed of artist. Most people will use this as part of their overall strategy going forward, but definitely get back to the more lucrative live touring.
All right, we hope we all get to see that soon. Thank you so much. Karen Allen there, live streaming and business development consultant and the author of Twitch for Musicians. Thank you so much.